In this episode of Richard Foreman's Dodgy Reg podcast, Richard is seeking a fresh angle on the mysterious novels of writer Oliver Tremayne, when Reg shows up and proves surprisingly knowledgeable about their coded, mind-altering qualities. This story is titled Unearthing Me. It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and I need to have this whole thing written up and delivered in a lot less time than I'd like. I get tetchy in situations like this, too much coffee for a start. The research I've been doing is both fascinating and frustrating. It's intriguing, but there are too many unanswered questions, of which the principal one is, whatever happened to Oliver Tremayne? What have I got so far? The basics are that he came to fame in the early 1980s with a novel that he'd supposedly written at the age of 14. It was called The Endless and presented a small part of the life story of a character not unlike the legendary Wandering Jew. This character, with the curious name of Shango Dorado, somehow manages to be present in the background at significant historical events. In 1962, for example, he's in a vehicle a short way behind the president during the motorcade in which Kennedy was assassinated. In 1975, he's present in the same park during the failed attempt by Andrew Newton to assassinate Jeremy Thorpe's ex-lover Norman Scott. You get the picture. That this novel was written by a 14-year-old made it quite extraordinary, more so when you encounter the mature and erudite style in which the tale is told. Over the next 9 years, Oliver Tremayne went on to publish another 4 novels, dealing with cusp events throughout history and purportedly revealing strange and at times barely credible aspects of those situations. His creation, Dorado, features in all 4 books, though not as the major character he was in The Endless. His presence creates a sense of continuity through the sequence. As for Tremayne, these subsequent novels confirm that he truly was some kind of prodigy. When interviewed, his manner was that of a man more than twice his age. He seemed to have skipped adolescence almost entirely. Then, shortly after his 23rd birthday, he disappeared. A car he'd been driving was found at a motorway services on the M6. Personal documents, including credit cards, were left in the glove compartment. It transpired that he had accumulated a considerable amount of cash in a series of withdrawals from his bank account over a period of some months prior to this. No trace of him was and has ever been found, barring the occasional uncorroborated sighting. So, there's this magazine called Unearthing, and I've managed to persuade them that I'm the guy to write a new piece on Oliver Tremayne, with the promise that I can add a few angles that no one's come up with before. The pay's not bad, and the exposure I'll get is worth having. Trouble is, the more I read about him, the more I realise that just about every angle I thought I could think of has already been covered. I'm scouring for more clues when the doorbell rings. The first time, I ignore it. I work at the back of the house. No one need know I'm in. But it rings again and again. And when I go to answer, I see a face at the front window. An all too familiar, scruffy, bearded one. It's Reg. And now he's seen me. I've at least got to open the door. "Hey, Rich," he grins. "You look like a man in need of a break." "Reg, I'm sorry, not today. I've got a deadline. I really can't stop just now." "Can't or won't, my friend," he counters with a look you suspect he picked up from the Ancient Mariner. It's that thought that gets me. Ancient Mariner, Wandering Jew, Shango Dorado. I'm looking for an angle here. The way Reg's mind tends to work, now that could be interesting. Still, best to be cautious. Okay, I say, projecting reluctance, now overcome. I was thinking of putting a brew on, but 15 minutes is all right. By the time cups are on the table and Reg has constructed his statutory roll-up, I've filled him in on what I'm doing. Turns out he's familiar with the story. Is there a single piece of anomalous information in this world that Reg doesn't have tagged somewhere in that paranoid mind of his? Certainly not this one. You do realise, don't you, Richard, that a certain proportion of the books we call novels contain coded information designed to trigger certain responses in the autonomic nervous system? You mean like a voodoo curse? The idea itself makes you sick? A reverse placebo kind of thing? Reg reaches across to give me a mock patronising tap on the shoulder. Well done! Go to the top of the class! Yeah, but novels. Why? Because it's coded, like I said. Bypasses the conscious mind altogether. That takes time and a lot of words, a lot of camouflage. Have you read The Endless? I mean, cover to cover, every last paragraph, like the writer invites you to in that little preface he wrote? Are you kidding? It's 700 pages long. I skipped. Reg stubs out the last 2 centimetres of his fag and beams me a sweet smile. Then your soul is a little safer, my friend. What about the sequels? Well, I wasn't so impressed that I had to read the lot. I dipped into the Perpetual, but it didn't grab me. Just found and read synopses of the others. So, the Incalculable. You steered clear of that? I nod, conscious that I'm starting to feel a little smug about my incomplete research. Good. Take my advice. That's a book you don't ever want to go near. If I had my way, every single copy would be burnt, disintegrated. That bad, huh? I take a quick look at my watch. I'm not sure this is taking me anywhere useful at all. I need to cut to the quick here and get back to work. What about Oliver Tremayne, then? What do you think happened to him? Nothing pleasant. Reg takes a final gulp of his coffee. But he leers. We've had our 15 minutes, haven't we? I mustn't take any more of your precious time. Well, there's still... But he's getting to his feet, reaching for his coat, grinning at my momentary perturbation. I think you'll find you probably do know all you need to know. Just read through the lines, Rich. Read through the lines. I see him off at the front door, and as he walks away, I'm pretty sure I can hear him chuckling to himself. Of course, the whole idea is ludicrous. Exactly the sort of nonsense that Reg is forever prone to spouting. Ridiculous. I get back to the desk, and my dog-eared third-hand copy of The Endless is lying there, with its curious cover design of a sigil that is almost but not quite the sign of a demon. I pick it up and browse. I get to a bit that I remember enjoying where a bunch of behaviourist therapists get hold of Shango Dorado and attempt to disprove his immortality. And there are hilarious consequences. There really are. But my eyes alight on certain words at seemingly random points in the text. There's something about the typesetting. It's not like the font changes, but that it exhibits variant curves on certain words, an effect so subtle as to be hardly noticeable. It's difficult to focus on these differentiated words sufficiently to sequence them, to see if they make any sense grammatically. But I remember a book in which a poet took a Victorian novel and highlighted certain words down the page to construct meaningful yet enigmatic sequences. I open the scanner and make a copy of the pages I've been looking at and reach for a highlighter pen. I'm almost certainly imagining this. But what the hell? Looks like I've got my piece for unearthing sorted. Next time on the Dodgy Reg podcast, in a story set some time before her recent death, Reg casts a conspiracist's eye on Queen Elizabeth II, especially the many potential meanings of the royal wave.